Hi, it's Julie with the Byron Public Library, and welcome to Virtual Library Madness. Today I'm going to go over how to do your cardboard treehouse. And I also want to add, you might notice I'm wearing this Summer Reading Club shirt again. Have you joined up for our summer challenge? We actually have some activity badges this year, and you could earn one of those badges by completing this project and sending me a picture of it. So the Byron program badge, it says participate in a program either virtually or in person in June. So you would check that off by being enrolled in Library Madness and completing a project. And then it says send a photo in of a completed project. So if you do that, you can check that off in the program badge, and you will have earned that badge and a chance to, and you'll get an entry into the gift card drawing. Okay, so that's the little plug for summer reading or summer challenge. If you haven't signed up yet, it's on the Bean Stack app, and there's lots of information on our web page, or you can email me if you have any questions. But now we're going to go over how to make this tree house, and you'll need to gather some items from home. You'll need a hot glue gun. If you requested at registration, it's inside your kit. You'll need some scissors, possibly, and a pencil. You might not need those, but just go ahead and grab them. A glue stick if you have it, or school glue, and a paintbrush. So those are the things you'll need from home, and then something to work on, a surface to work on. You don't want to be painting or hot glue gunning on your nice furniture, so cover your work surface, or get a tray or something. If you have, the glue could stick to a newspaper, so maybe a tray or wax paper might work a little bit better, but you could make either work. So to start with, I want you to get out all of your cardboard out of your kit. You have lots of different shapes. You have several different sizes of squares. So go ahead and take out all that cardboard and your cardboard tube. Those are the things we'll be working with first. And go ahead and arrange your cardboard in order from smallest to largest, okay? Those squares, so that you won't get confused and you know what we're working with. So for step one, and I already did this part, you'll need your biggest square, and some of them might have writing on the back. If it has some kind of writing, like this has Office Depot, you want that to be on the bottom where no one's gonna see it. And then you need your tube. You need your hot glue gun. So if you didn't plug it in, go ahead and do that and get an adult to help you. Press pause while you wait a little bit for that to warm up. And what you're going to do is you're going to glue your tube to this big base about in the center. If you're not sure exactly where that will be, sometimes you know where it is, but then when you lift it off, you're not sure where to put your glue. So a good thing to do would be to just trace it with your pencil lightly, and then when you get your glue gun, you're going to want to go inside, just inside that circle, and then stick that on there and wait a little bit. It dries rather quickly. So that's step one, the largest square with your tube. We're going to glue those together with our hot glue gun. The second thing we're going to do is we're getting our next biggest square. So here's our second largest square. And that's going to go on top of here and be the base for our house. So we're going to glue that on. I'm going to try to put my glue on top of this. That's a little tricky. Sometimes it likes to fall in, but we'll see if this will work. It is going to fall down the middle, but that's okay. And I'm going to glue that on. I'm also almost out of glue in this, so I'm going to have to change it. I gave you some of these sticks if you asked for one, so I'm going to stick that new stick in there. Okay, so I'm gonna wait a minute and then just test it. Yeah, it's stuck because it's not coming off. So, and it's pretty dry. So for our next part, I'm gonna set that aside a little bit. We're gonna make our house. And for the house, you notice you have two sizes of squares left. There's two of each ones. The bigger ones are your roof. We're gonna set those aside. We're not using those right now. So the smallest two squares, and then the ones that have the triangle on the top. Now, before we start gluing, I want to tell you that if you would like a door on one side of this, we put a piece of paper in there that's really small. So at the end, if you like, you can just glue that on to look like a door. If you want an actual opening in your treehouse, then what you would do is you can set that on, put it on there and use your pencil, and you can trace it so that you have the shape, and then you can get your scissors and you can cut it. It's a little tricky cutting cardboard, especially the top part of the door. You might need some help with that. I actually didn't get mine all the way through. I'm gonna try again. Okay, so there I cut a little opening on one side, so that's gonna be the front of mine. Or you can use the paper, whichever you like, but wait and do that until at the very end after you've painted, okay? So now we have to build this, and this can get tricky. Usually what I do is I'm going to take, I actually think I'm gonna start with the back. I'm gonna take one of these, and I'm gonna take one of these. And this is where you need some help. It is hard to do this by yourself. But usually what I do is I put my glue right inside on this flat part, not on the edge there. I find it a little bit easier to keep it together if I do that. So the glue does dry quickly. So first thing I'm gonna do is on one side, I'm gonna put that glue, and be careful not to burn yourself. And then I'm gonna take that small and I'm gonna just hold it. Okay, I'm gonna hold it there for a little bit till it dries. And don't feel frustrated. If it falls apart, you can just re-glue it. Sometimes I have to re-glue it after I start it. So now I'm gonna do that on the other side, just inside, not on the edge, but right inside, so it's the same. I'm gonna put that glue, I'm gonna take my other square, and I'm gonna hold that on. I'm just gonna hold it here for a little bit so it dries. And you can always add more glue. If it starts to fall apart, sometimes that happens. The cardboard isn't perfect. We had to cut 40 of these, and some of these we did 80 cuts. So it's hard to get it exactly right. So sometimes it's a little off and you just have to make a few adjustments. So that is together pretty well. So now I'm gonna put on the front, okay? And for this, I think I'm just gonna glue right here so that I can set that front on. I think that might be the easiest for this part. I'm gonna put that on there. Oops, my glue thing's running out, so I gotta hold that in. So okay, and then I'm gonna put that. I might just leave it like that, and I'm gonna see if that worked. Sometimes you have to push it a little. That looks pretty good. It's standing, it's relatively straight. So there's my house. Now we have our roof. And the roof is gonna go on like this. So I think the easiest way to do your roof, and just kind of take a look at that, put it together without glue so that you can see where you need to place it. It pretty much needs to be lined up with the top point so that those will come together. Okay, so to do my roof, I'm gonna do the glue right here on one side, on that edge. And then I'm gonna set that on. Okay. And then I'm going to glue the other side right here on this edge. I'm gonna set that on. All right, what a cute little tree house I have, cardboard tree house, okay? Now, next part is up to you. Okay, so I think it would be a good idea for you to glue this on here, but you don't have to do that now because maybe you want to decorate, right? So we're gonna leave these pieces like this, and I actually have to get up. I forgot to get a paintbrush, so I'm gonna go grab that and I will be right back. Okay, so painting. You have green paint in there, and that's gonna be for this base because this is our tree. So we're gonna go ahead and paint the base so it kind of looks like the ground in the forest, right? And I'm kind of getting paint on my table, but that's okay because my table is washable. I can just wipe it with a Clorox wipe and it's gonna come right off. So I'm gonna paint this part. Okay, and I'm gonna let that dry. So I have my base painted green, and then I'll clean my brush. And now this is where you can decide what you'd like to do. The brown, if you want sort of a natural looking tree house, you can just leave it brown. You don't have to paint it. Or the base, you can decide. So I put a couple colors in. If you have some colors at home, you can do that. I put a little bit of scrap paper in there so you could cut things up to create some decorations for your house. If you have the door and you're just gonna glue it on, you can do that. So there's a couple options for you. So decorate this, it can be unrealistic or it can be sort of looks like it's made out of wood, like this is already like that. So you decide what you would like to do. It's probably easier maybe to paint and decorate this when it's not attached. And then if you want to paint the base, maybe you want to paint the base and not the house or vice versa. So decide what you want to do, how you'd like to decorate it. And once you've decided that, then we probably want to glue this to your tree house, to your tree. So you can decide, are you going to set it on straight? Are you going to set it on at an angle? Decide how you like it. And again, a helpful way to know where to put that hot glue is to just lightly trace it with a pencil. And then you'll know that you'll want to glue inside that pencil line to put your house on to get it to stick. You can re-glue it if sometimes I'm off and I don't put the glue in the right spot, that's a-okay. You can just redo it, okay? So get your house up there. And while we're waiting for all of this to dry, we're going to make our ladder. You have to have a way to get up into your tree house. So you have 2 sticks. I started my ladder so you wouldn't have to watch me make the whole thing. So you have 2 sticks and you have some pipe cleaners. So the pipe cleaners are going to be the rungs on your ladder. So I found the easiest way to start was to lay these 2 sticks on the table, like so. And then decide how, I have a couple different colors in there for you. You probably need to use them all. But it's up to you. Decide if you're going to do a pattern. I sort of have green, purple. If you want to have all the green together, decide how you're going to place them and then lay it. And you also might just want to kind of space them out so you can decide to tell where they're going to be. And if you want to know where you put them, you could place one down. Actually, I need a green one for my next one. So maybe I'm going to set my green one there. And then I need purple, I'm gonna put that one there. And then I need a pink, I'm gonna put that one there. So you also could use your pencil and just make a little mark so that, and lift it away as you do that so you know where they're gonna be. Or you can just play it by ear because will be able to slide up and down. So when you've decided that, take one of them and lay it across. To get it started, you might need a helper. But once it's together, and then you're gonna wrap. So you actually see how that is. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see it a little better. You want some of that pipe cleaner on either side of your sticks, and then you're gonna wrap it tightly. So wrap, and then the other side's gonna wrap. You wanna wrap it around a couple times so it's tight. Keep wrapping. Okay, and you can move that. It's not going to be so tight that it can't be moved. So you're going to keep doing that for all of these. The first one might be a little tricky, so you might need a helper. But once you get it built, and maybe you'll find it's easier to do the top and the bottom, and then put the ones in the middle, because you can slide it up and down too. So you're going to do that and make your ladder. And I'm hoping that my green paint's almost dry so I can show you the next part. So we're gonna make our ladder. So that's a good thing to do while your paint is drying. And you can adjust them. If you don't want them to move at all, then what you could do is lift it up a little bit, put a hot dot of hot glue, and then slide it down, but be careful so you don't burn yourself. So if you don't want them to be able to move at all, then you might want to add some hot glue. But I think it stays pretty well. So there's my ladder to get into my tree house. Okay. My green paint's almost dry, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this last part. I'm going to take this off since I didn't glue it on there yet. So to kind of give that some texture and depth, I've given you some tissue paper squares. So here's where, if you have a glue stick and a pencil, you don't have to, you can use glue too. So, but I'm sure a lot of you have done this in school where you do that and then you stick it on. So that just kind of gives it, you can use both color greens and fill it in as much as you want. So wrap your pencil, rub it on the glue stick, and stick it there. But that just kind of gives it some three-dimensional depth to the floor of your forest or woods for your tree house. So go ahead and do that. My paint wasn't quite dry, but by the time you make your whole ladder, your green paint probably will be dry, and you'll be able to do that. And then again, this stuff's maybe still drying. So if you painted, let that paint dry, and then if you're gonna put your paper door on, go ahead and glue that on. You can just use a glue stick or school glue for that. You only need your hot glue gun for the cardboard part. And then if you wanna add anything else too, if you wanna glue your house down, go ahead and do that. If you wanna add some any other touches from home, go for it. That would be super cool. Okay, then we have our ladder. So once you decide where this is going to be, I just got green paint on my tree house. And you might find, like, when I look at this, I can see that it's not quite even, and it's probably because my cardboard isn't exactly straight, but I think once I glue it down, it will be. And then you have to decide, are you just going to perch your ladder? I think that works just fine. Just perch your ladder there like that. Let me turn it around so you can see it a little bit better. So there's your ladder, there's your tree house. So I hope you have a fun time with this project, and I'd love to see some photos. Thank you.